Hi everyone, and welcome to Local Notes. This is a video and podcast series dedicated to local musicians and their craft. I'm Dave Wright, and the only thing I can play is the radio. But I do enjoy listening to great music, and with a few of my friends, I spend a lot of time traveling around to hear some of our best local music. This series has two real objectives. One is to give some of the great talent an opportunity to tell their side of the story. I'm talking about the kind of stuff we don't normally get to hear about. Secondly, I'm trying to bring some attention to an area that's really hurting right now. Where would we be without all these super talented people that keep us entertained? So let's not waste any more time and get to it. Hey everyone, and welcome to Local Notes. I first met Donny Eozzo in the spring of 2022 when a buddy of mine that you guys probably know named Cook McCoy talked me into going to an open mic night. This was an event that Donny hosts every 2 weeks at the Lindora Hotel in Butler PA. Anyhow, being a new guitar player, I decided it'd be fun. I've never tried something like that, and playing in front of people is scary, but I said, hey, I'm going to go for it. Please keep in mind that Local Notes has been around longer than I've been playing guitar. Anyhow, I went to the open mic and I met Donny. I liked him right away. First thing I noticed was the love in the room. He surrounded himself with people that were supportive and wanted to see beginners succeed. I was hooked. As time passed, I got to know Donny better and discovered his musical background, and it was super interesting, so I asked him if we could interview him on Local Notes. As a side note, I still go to Donny's open mic shows. It's amazing to see new people perform for the first time at all levels. Last week, we had a young guy named Gunner who was 16 playing Linkin Park and System of a Down. He absolutely killed it. And also, there was a guy who was 83 playing dobro. Utah Burgess from FM 97.7 was there and played a few songs, and Cook McCoy from Dinner Bell Road was there just killing it. It was just a blast. All this leads to an amazing night of music and different levels of talent. I hope you enjoy the interview and stay tuned at the end. Donny and I, with Gunner and Donny's bandmate Johnny Costa, get together for a short jam on Tennessee whiskey. Thanks for watching Local Notes, and I'll see you next time. Hey everyone, I'm Dave Wright, and welcome to Local Notes. Today is a very special treat. Before I throw out a name, I'm going to just throw out how I met you real quick.
Okay.
So I started going to open mic nights, and my very first time playing in front of anybody, and I met this gentleman right here, Donny Eozzo.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
You said it perfect. Perfect. I couldn't have asked for better. I'll answer to just about anything.
Me too.
But that was pretty nice there.
Yeah. Anyway, Donny has been playing in the area, in the Butler area mainly, right?
Yeah, for like where I started, or
Just generally right now.
Yeah, generally, yeah.
And he's been playing in the area. He's got quite a resume, and I'm really anxious to share everything about him with you guys. So
everything.
Well, whatever you're gonna. So tell us. I want to hear stuff that you wouldn't tell other people. So that's.
Oh yeah. So nobody's gonna see this, right?
Anyway, so let's start. How did you get interested in music?
Well, this is kind of embarrassing. It's gonna show my age, but I remember, coming downstairs when I was a kid, and my mom and my sisters would be watching Elvis movies, Elvis Presley. I want to do that. Elvis, yeah.
Any particular movie?
I don't even remember the names of them. I just remembered how all the girls would be all over him as well. And, he had that little, Yeah, I didn't even know what swagger was then, but I still don't.
How did you get started?
Playing and singing, or just
whatever. I mean,
I started. Well, I was always singing. I started writing songs and changing the words to songs on the radio when I was a little kid. And then I've always kind of been a writer and a singer, songwriter. But I didn't start playing guitar till I was probably about 15.
Do you remember the first song you wrote?
Yeah, I was actually have on my last solo record. It's
really
called, Death for Life.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Awesome. That was the first
it was like one of the very first ones I wrote.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you is it harder to write than to sing and play?
Not really.
No?
Not really. Yeah, I usually just like I know some people get writer's block. I probably have had that too, but usually something. Sometimes like I've worked with bands where they'll play the music, and I'll hear it and see where it takes me. And sometimes it doesn't take me anywhere.
That was my next question. How does it come to you? Like, do you sit down and you like drudge over words and change them a million times?
No, it usually pours out of me. I'd have to say.
So you're.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's like
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard some of your songs, and I've heard your album, your CD that you gave me. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
The songwriting is.
This guy's Mr. Right, man. I call him Mr. Right. Yeah, right. I mean, as soon as you meet him, you can tell he's exuberant. He's awesome, and he's just very, very supportive of local music and live music. Yeah,
I am. And I'm surprised I didn't meet you during COVID. That when everybody was stuck at home.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. I did a lot of interviews at that time during COVID. Anyway, so now you're young, you're under 10 years old, you're writing songs, you're singing, you're definitely in love with music. At 14, you pick up a guitar.
14 to 15, yeah.
Do you remember the first song you learned? The first rock song?
I actually, before I even learned how to play guitar, I started making up chords, oh, this would be this and this would be that. And I remember I bought this little Gretsch guitar off of a neighbor. I grew up on the island.
Okay.
And
on the island?
Yeah.
I don't know where that is.
It's kind of like I don't want to say the projects of Butler, but
well, that's okay.
Yeah, and there was a neighbor across the street there, and he had a little amp and a little Gretsch guitar. Yeah, and I was Van Halen was coming out. I think they were 78, right? And I tried to paint the guitar, the Gretsch guitar. I had all these. I put tape on it. It was all black with yellow. Tried to be like Eddie Van Halen's guitar.
Nice.
I hope I threw it away because that is ridiculous. I mean, it was horrible. Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that would be my favorite guitar now. I think.
I think I got rid of it, but I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of guitars?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How many guitars do you have?
If you count the ones in the closet and the ones on the wall, well, I don't know. Probably not. How many you have left?
I probably have 9.
About 12 or 13.
Really?
But,
okay.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 Taylors. Well, right now, me and Johnny have been playing with. I've been using my Ibanez because both my Taylors took a crap. I hate to tuck down on Taylor because great guitars, but just both of the sound systems went on. Both
Really?
Yeah.
The pickups or whatever.
Yeah, it was just all of a sudden it's just with no sound. So we're gonna maybe replace the boards, but for now I'm using Ibanez.
Wow. Okay. All right. So now you're 15. You've started playing.
Mm-hmm.
When did you get in your first band?
When I was 17.
When you were 17.
Well, actually, I moved to California when I was 17. I graduated early. I graduated in '79, but back then, if you had your credits done, and I was not that I was smart or anything. I just had a real good memory.
Right.
And I could fake it, I guess. So I graduated early, and I moved out to California, to Fresno, California.
Okay. At 17.
At 17.
You moved away from your family to Fresno, California on your own.
On my own.
At 17 years old.
And I started up my own business, Blondie's Window Cleaning.
Really?
Yeah. And Fresno, I don't want to put anybody down from Fresno, but it's the weirdest place I've ever lived to this day. The weirdest people I've ever met. It's crazy weird. But so I knew I needed to get down a little more south to LA and Hollywood.
Right.
So I went back home after I made it for about 6 months, and then I called my mom, kind of hinted around, hey, can I come back home if you want to?
Okay.
She was happy that I did. I come back, then I didn't move back out there until I was 21, in about 82.
And you were a little bit more prepared?
Hopefully, yeah, I was a little more prepared.
Right. So you're back home, so you're honing your skills, you're still playing, still learning.
Yep.
And then you go back out to
Go
California.
back out there, I was 21. Yeah. And then before I even got a job, I got into a band called Pleaser, P-L-E. P-L-E-A-Z-E-R, Pleaser. Our first demo was Say Please. This was in 84.
Say Please.
Say Please.
From Pleaser.
Yeah, and we just started writing songs and stuff like that. It was so funny, too, because coming from Pennsylvania, I had a big, long mustache like this, sideburns, cowboy boots, and I auditioned for this band. They were called Killer Candy, right? And later to become Pleaser, right? And at the end of the audition, they're like, hey, how do you feel about shaving? Because everything was about clean shaving. And I'm like, I don't, yeah, maybe. And then he goes, how do you feel about wearing makeup? I'm like, whoa, well, I'm from Pennsylvania, man.
Right.
I can't do that. 6 months later, I swear to God, this is a true story. 6 months later, we're playing at the Troubadour in Hollywood. And I'm like, where's the makeup girl? 20 minutes before we were going to go on. Nothing like, poison, but it was.
Right.
you know, the guy liner, I guess they call it.
Yeah, yeah. That was like, that's the 80s, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Tight pants.
That was it. Yeah. First I started out with the parachute pants, then we went to the leather pants, and like
spandex.
Yep.
Huh, cool. So you were playing the Troubadour. That's kind of a big deal, man.
Oh yeah, on Sunset Strip was like, yeah, there was like the Troubadour, the Whiskey, the Rainbow, Gazzaris. I remember there was I don't know, Bill Gazzari. I think he might have been in The Wizard of Oz or something. I'm not sure. But he owned that place, and he'd always go on the radio spots. He'd be like, "This is Bill Gazzari, the godfather of rock and roll. If they aren't playing the best kick-ass music and the best-looking guys, they don't get on my stage. The same stage as Van Halen and the Doors."
Yeah.
And he would say that every time on the radio spots, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you meet any of the big time bands back then?
You mean like just the ones that became big bands?
Yeah.
Well, like we used to play with Great White.
Oh wow, that's huge.
Rat. Motley Crue was always playing up on the Strip.
Wow.
Warrant. They came a little bit later. Poison came a little bit after I moved out there. I think they moved out there like in '85
Wow.
or something.
I remember Rat, Out of the Cellar. I
Out
had
of the
that
Cellar.
CD. I think I wore that out. In
Did you
like
ever have
19...
down on your knees, down on
Yeah,
your...
yeah.
That was right, yeah.
Huh. So
Or maybe that might have been Great White.
So-
Rat was like, you think you're tough.
maybe
Yeah,
that's
that was
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're in love. That was a big one. But anyway, okay, so it's the mid '80s. You're hanging out in LA.
Yep.
You're in a band. Are you singing? Are you playing guitar?
Just singing.
Just
That's
singing.
all I did out there was sing.
Just sing.
I'm not a very I wasn't a very good guitar player then, and I'm certainly not one now. But
You're at least as good as you were back then.
yeah, maybe. I'll take that. Man. I'll take that. Yeah.
So okay, so you're hanging out in LA.
Mhm.
What happened there? Why aren't you still out in LA? Why aren't you making albums? What happened?
Oh, we could blame that on grunge, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, we weren't called big
Seattle?
bands back then. It was like Seattle started moving in, Nirvana was coming in. I think it was
The
just kind of
90s.
burning itself out. It became to the point where there were so many bands coming out, and it became more about the looks and the show, and not so much about the music. I think that's what kind of hurt it. But
Right.
you know, a lot of them guys are still around. playing.
So okay, I mean I've heard, and I know that you got a story to tell about being out in LA.
You mean with the
Yeah.
AKA
Yeah.
the Night Stalker?
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us
that's
real
one of
quick
those
what happened,
Okay,
happened
let's
with
see.
the Night Stalker.
Okay, so it's 1984. It's December 11th, and we had practice. I was living in Anaheim, and my guitar player Jim Moronk, who's still playing out there, he has a band called the Apes. Phenomenal guitar player.
Mhm.
And we had a practice studio down there called Deacon Dog Studios in Long Beach. So we were practicing that night, and so he has this white Toyota pickup with a shell. He's got all his equipment in there, and we had tickets to the Crocus Wasp concert in Long Beach Arena.
Mhm.
So we go to that, and we're hanging out there where there wasn't festival seating. There was all these chairs and stuff. We had tickets to our seats, right?
Right.
But we ran into a bunch of girls we knew, and we let them take our seats, and we were standing in the middle of the
aisle,
aisle.
right.
And the Long Beach football team was working security, and they came down there, and they first thing they did was like they started grabbing on us, and they punched my guitar player Jim right to the floor. They're dragging him up the aisle, so I come right over there, and I'm probably like 148 pounds at the time.
Right.
And one of the guys, big linebacker dude or whatever, smacks me. I didn't go down though. I'm proud of that. But I was spitting a little bit of blood. Anyway, they kick us out, which turns out to be a blessing because we go out. We're outside of the arena, and we're looking out the parking lot. And one of our roadies says, "Hey, is somebody in your pickup? Somebody in your car?" And we can see like the figure, and the light was on. So we go all running down there, right? And we're chasing this guy, the guy that was in the front seat. We chase him to Pacific Coast Highway, and my guitar player gets there first. Boom! Pops him like right here, drops him right on Pacific Coast Highway. Then I grab him. I'm gonna do one of these where you grab him, and he had a button-down shirt, and I go to pull him up like this. I was gonna pop him back down like that, and all the buttons popped off. I remember, and then all of a sudden I heard a voice say, "Hey, the dog doesn't know who the bad guy is," and there was a Long Beach policeman coming over with his dog, German Shepherd. We're all like, yeah, we're pointing down there. So they put him in the car. I just remember he never said a word, the guy, right? So, okay, now we're going to flash up to 1985, about 5 or 6 months from then. This was when the Night Stalker was Richard
All over
Ramirez.
TV.
All over
and all
TV.
that,
They didn't
right.
know who he was or anything like that. I mean, everybody was just like freaked out because he was so just everywhere, popping up here and there and just crazy, and they could not get him, So then one day, my guitar player calls me up and goes, "Hey, did you see the news? They just caught the Night Stalker." I'm like, "Yeah, watching it right now." He goes, "That's the same name as the guy as that night that we caught trying to steal my Toyota." And I'm like, "Really? I thought he looked familiar, but still, we didn't really make the connection." It wasn't until years later that we saw the mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then if you look at that mugshot, if I had a picture of it, I'd show you. But all his buttons are popped off. He's jacked right there in the face, and so that it's caught up real quick that was
the Night Stalker.
Yeah, because he goes, "Yes, the same guy, is the same name." So I guess evidently they had like 9 Richard Ramirez's that they narrowed it down to. We're talking 84, 85. They didn't have the database of fingerprints like they do now.
Right.
So they had to painstakingly go through it, and they finally caught one fingerprint, and it matched back to the night that he got arrested trying to steal my buddy's truck, and that's what got him. That's what caught him.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. Once that picture came out, they caught him the very next day. My small part.
All right, so you're out in L.A.
Sorry if that was so long a story.
No, you're out in L.A. You have no idea you captured one of the hugest serial killers ever. Okay, he was a bad guy.
He was very evil.
He was a very evil guy. So the band thing ain't quite getting it done, right?
Well, it was Pleaser we were trying too hard. It was almost like Spinal Tap. And we kept trying like, okay, everybody's doing this right now. Let's go harder. Let's go. And we had a demo out, like I said, Say Please, and it was doing pretty good. We were on a record called California Metal. It's kind of like a compilation album.
Mm-hmm.
And then I joined a band called Dirty Tricks, and we did pretty good too. Dirty Trixx. You know?
Oh, okay, cool. And you're out there for a while. What made you decide to come back to Pennsylvania?
Well, I ended up getting married in 1988.
To a girl you met in California?
A girl I met in California,
Uh-huh.
and had the best thing could have ever happened to me because I had 2 amazing sons.
Nice.
Sean and Chase. Now Sean's going to be 34 in August 12th, and Chase has just turned 30.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. We have kids about the same age.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
great. That was a blessing. I was like the guy least likely to ever get married, ever have kids, ever have a cat.
Mhm.
Life has a way of like changing things around for you. You got to be
Wait a minute.
open to change.
I check all those boxes.
Right.
Anyway, okay, so you're married, you're still out in California.
Right.
And
I was partying probably a little too hard. And it's like, you know what, I need to go get my shit together. Can I say that?
Yeah.
And
It's going on the internet.
Okay.
If it's on the internet, it must be true.
It must be true.
Right.
That's what I heard. And you can say anything.
That's
right?
exactly right.
So yeah. So anyway, we moved back to Pennsylvania, where I was from. You know, my family and stuff. And so I kind of took a break from music for like 15 years or so.
15 years.
Yeah, so
you just put it away.
Yeah, I just wanted to be the best father, and
That's incredible.
And then when they started getting older, well, things kind of fell apart with me and my now my ex-wife.
Uh-huh.
But I ended up getting back together with a girl that I dated back like 40 years ago. We have pictures of like me holding her like this, Kathy.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Kathy.
She's wonderful.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Hi, Kathy.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you got back together. So
Yeah,
you ended up
we
getting
ended up-
divorced.
Yeah.
You got back into music.
Yeah, got back into music.
Got together with Kathy.
Right.
And you've been playing. Let's see, how long ago was that you started getting back into music?
About 2011.
2000. Okay, so
Yeah.
for 10 years.
Yeah, just
You've been
playing a lot
back
of
into the
solo
scene.
shows.
Yeah, a lot of solo shows.
And a couple bands. I was with a couple bands.
Mhm.
With a lot of guys that are pretty well known. We have such a great local music scene, you know, and around here, like in Pittsburgh and Butler. And
Right. Well,
Everywhere.
you're pretty well known. I was up in, I was at Big Rail Brewery last week with Tammy, and we're sitting there watching a bluegrass band,
Wow.
and the people sit down in front of us. We were talking about open mic night
Uh-huh.
at the Lindor Hotel, and the guy goes, Donny Eozzo? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, no.
I knew all about you.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and okay, so right now you kind of have a band, right?
Yeah.
And what's the name of your band?
Well, it's actually, he's right here, right?
Oh, yeah. Come on, John,
up
come
here,
inside.
This is my brother from another mother, partner in crime,
Everybody, this is John
Johnny Costa.
Costa, yep.
That's
Johnny,
right.
thanks for stopping by.
So,
Thanks
yeah,
for having
we've
me.
been playing around, having a good time. Donnie and Johnny, and Slightly Suspicious.
Slightly suspicious.
Yeah,
Now,
that's-
is that the drummer?
It could be the drummer. It's probably the crowd, whoever's there.
Right. It could be
Is this
you.
some Slightly
It
Suspicious?
could be me.
It could be you.
Well, listen, after we're done with this interview, we're going to get together with a 16-year-old phenom named Gunnar Young,
Gunna!
and we're going to put together a little song. But that's at the end. John, I appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you. Love you,
So-
brother. This guy's amazing, man. Be looking more for this guy right here.
He's a heck of a guitar player.
Yeah, guitar, bass player, singer, guitar player, plays keyboards. We haven't introduced that yet. But
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're back, you're in PA, you're up in Butler, you're doing local shows, all that kind of stuff. Are you happy with the way it turned out?
Yeah, very, very happy.
Are you?
I mean, I've been very blessed, I feel. You know, it's like, I think if I would have, you know, sometimes when you say different things, you know, life has a way of like changing things for you.
Right.
You got to be open to change, because I don't think I would have made it. I never knew never wanted the party to end back
Right.
then in the 80s.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And, you know, I became a responsible adult and father, I'd like to think.
All right.
And I've got 2 amazing sons, and
Good.
and Kathy has a daughter that just got married, and she's kind of like, it's my stepdaughter, but she's kind of like my daughter.
Uh-huh.
And it's-
Okay, so we're going to play a game, all right? It's called This or That,
Okay.
okay? You got to pick one. No lollygag in the middle. No. Okay, you
Fire it off.
got to pick the one, okay?
Fire it off.
Steak or pizza?
Pizza.
Pizza. Is there meat on the pizza?
Yeah.
all right, just check
As
it.
long as there's jalapeno peppers.
As long as there's jalapeno. Oh, you're like the spice.
I like it spicy.
I like the spice, too.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. You ready?
Mhm.
Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Beatles.
Beatles? Every time?
Yeah.
You like them?
They were just so, to me, influential, and the harmonies, and, you know, the experimental stuff. Yeah.
Abbey Road, brother.
Oh, yeah. That was not set up, I swear.
No, it wasn't. It was totally. He did not know that was coming. All right.
Yeah, I love the Rolling Stones too, but yeah.
I do too.
If I had to, I'd go with the Beatles.
I probably would pick the Beatles as well.
Okay.
Number 3, 70s or 80s?
80s.
80s.
Just because it was so fun to be.
You have that 80s aurora. Oh, no, you do. You got the
But you
feel
know what?
like
It was such a fun time to be in Hollywood and on the Sunset Strip, and everything was happening. Everybody was getting signed, and it was just like, you know, it was just, to me, what I thought about when I was a kid. You know, it's like
Uh-huh.
the whole rock star thing. You know, kind of, you know, bigger than life. You know, and colorful and show, and everybody throwing the guitars around.
right,
Yeah.
right.
But I didn't play guitar in any of my bands out there.
None.
Just saying.
That was kind of my next one. Singing or playing guitar?
Singing for sure.
Singing?
Yeah.
Songwriting or singing?
Oh, I'm supposed to fire it off.
No. Follow your heart.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Because I love songwriting, and singing's my passion. That's how I judge how I feel every day I wake up. If I can't sing a certain way, I'm like,
Wow.
oh, I must not be feeling good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird, but I'll go singing.
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 Singing is your thing.
My
That's what you
passion.
wanted to do. And I heard you mention earlier that you were a baseball player.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
it.
before I ever picked up a guitar, I was like going to be a best baseball star ever.
What
you know.
position?
I played second and shortstop.
Wow.
And batted cleanup, believe it or not. Yeah.
Nice.
But then I moved to Butler when I was 13. This was in Ridgeway, a small town up north. You ever heard of Ridgeway?
No, I never heard of
Ridgeway.
Ridgeway.
Yeah? Okay. So, yeah, there was a small town, like 6,000 people when we moved to Butler. And, like, the competition, you know, was a bigger place, right? So
Uh-huh.
I thought Butler was like a city when I moved here. And, like, there's some pitchers that were pitching real hard. I didn't have, you know, you have to have support.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any friends. And then I found a guitar.
Nice.
And I went that route.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did, brother.
Thank you, man.
I really am.
Appreciate it.
I'm glad you did.
I appreciate it, man. You're a good dude.
You feel good?
Felt real good.
You happy?
Mr. Right here.
Donnie, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
I
I
really
try to
appreciate
keep
it.
these things not too long.
Oh, yeah.
So, because we, you know,
I can get boring real quick. I can entertain myself for hours, but yeah, I can get boring.
look forward to seeing you. Thanks again, Donnie,
All right,
man. Appreciate
Always
it.
a pleasure.
Yep. Cut.
Used to spend my nights out in a barroom,
Honey, I stay stoned on your love all of the time. You know I've looked for love in all the same old places. By the bottom of a bottle all these times. But when you poured your heart out, I didn't wasted. 'Cause there is nothing like your love, deadly high. 'Cause you're a smooth